Well, hello, and welcome to another boring Joe Sands communication site video. This is Spirit Mountain, Nevada, which is located south of Las Vegas, actually southeast, kind of right in the tip of the state. The state of Nevada is kind of a triangular shaped. It's hard to explain. If you look at a map of the state of Nevada, the corner of it is actually in right near Laughlin, Nevada. And then from there, it's Needles, California, down on one side, and Bullhead City, Lake Mojave, and other small cities along the Colorado River on the other. We're flying over some real rough, kind of interesting-looking rock formations. I'm not sure exactly what the rock formations mean, but I'm sure the geologists out there would know what we're looking at. This mountain isn't terribly high, especially for a communication site, but because of the lower elevation of the valleys around it, it actually has a very, very good look for radio communications. Radio communications, as you know, are line of sight, which means whatever you can see from there is where the radio signal will go. So that makes it very, very good for communications purposes. And in this case, I'm a broadcast engineer, so I take care of some of the FM stations on this site. Straight in front of us, actually a little bit off to the right, is the old tower for KFLG FM, which was 94, well, it actually was 102.7 when this used to be active. But now there's some lower power stations on it, and KFLG has moved down to Lake Havasu on 94.7, I believe it is. And so we're going to kind of go around this and do what I call just a rotation, where the drone is actually flying sideways and I'm doing a spin at the same time to try and keep the tower in the center. Until the wind came up with some major league wind gusts, I was able to hold it pretty steady, and then I kind of gave up on it. But you can kind of see some of the lower power antennas there. And as we spin around there, you'll see a whole bunch of dish antennas, and these are all for public safety, communications, cellular telephone, you name it. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff at this site. There's some FM broadcasts. I think there might even be some TV relay that gets down to Bullhead City. This site covers all the way down to Needles, California, actually from the one station, which is on the far side of the site, the back site there toward the rear of the picture, is there's two broadcast stations that have some significant power, and they reach all the way down to almost Lake Havasu City, which is I think 100 and some miles away from there. So it's a pretty good communication site. And as you can see, the gimbal just jumped there because the wind gusts have started to come up. It's, of course, the minute you open the drone bag, what happens? The wind comes up. I always said, Warren, the guy that was with me on this adventure, I always tell him what I should really do is bring a kite, because if I bring a kite, there will be no wind. But because I have the drone, as soon as I open the drone bag, the wind comes out and starts blowing, and it started to get fairly intense. It started out as a very mild wind, and I thought it was going to be very manageable, but you can see the gimbal jumps there means the wind is high, and I'm getting wind alarms on the control surface of the drone, so I figured it was time to head back. The winds apparently got close to over 22 miles per hour, because the speed I was going with the drone with the cine mode will only go 22 miles an hour. So right up here, you'll see the aircraft come to a complete stop as the wind exceeds the speed of the aircraft, and then it stops. And I call it a stall, but it's not really a stall. It's just the wind, the forward pressure is equal to the motor pressure right there. I'm actually full forward stick there, but it's pushing it backwards. So I go to the sport mode, which will get me another 13 miles per hour. And then you see I'm slowly starting to gain speed back. And then I'll start lowering the elevation here to kind of get down around the road. And now I'm lining myself up with the map on my control surface. And if you look right in the dead center there, right where that cloud is passing over, there you can see my pickup truck there. And if you had a microscope on the TV screen, you'd probably see little red, green, and blue dots. No, that's a technical joke. Never mind. And so yeah, you could actually see me standing there next to the truck. I'm on the right side of the truck. There's also a little landing pad, orange in color, that I use to land on, but because of the wind conditions I just described, right here I'm risking going over 400 feet, so I'm lowering myself down and kind of straddling the hills so I can stay legal with the FAA. It's real important if you're running drones to be legal with the FAA, because all it's going to take is a few bad, idiots doing stupid stuff to hurt everybody. So try and stay within the rules the best you can. And in those cases when you can't, if you have a valid reason why you couldn't, the FAA will generally give you a pass on it. They will ask you to fill out a report, and who wants to do paperwork? So anyway, you see me standing there to the right-hand side of the truck, and then right in front of me there is the landing pad, and I'm bringing the gimbal down so I can line up to the landing pad. This is before the gusts got really bad and started blowing things all over the place, and I elected to go with a hand catch. I don't generally like to do hand catches, and I won't even try it on the larger drones, but on the little Mavic Mini, you just got to be careful to avoid the sensor, because it sees your hand at the sensor and raises itself up. But you can actually grab it from the bottom and then hold the power stick down and twist the drone to the side, and it will shut the propellers off. But it's always a risk, and you can hurt yourself. And the little Mini, you probably won't chop your finger off, but the larger drones, that's actually possible. So it's not a good thing to catch drones unless you absolutely have to, or you're risking property damage or damage to people, injury to people. So here we go. I'm going to look up here in a second and say, uh-oh. So you see, as I get closer, it's starting to just go all over the place. So I reach up and I grab it. Thanks so much for watching this video, and we'll have more videos of communication sites in the coming days.